With her iconic long straight hair and flowing white dress, she is the subject of many local tales and legends while doing so, under a moniker that is familiar to most of us. Also known as the Woman in White, the Weeping Woman, and the Ghostly Hitchhiker, this legendary spirit has been the center of many ghost stories told throughout history and across the globe. Often appearing before unknowing victims, most commonly men and children, in a manner that would send chills down their spine. However, is that it is rarely the White Lady's looks that frighten her observers. Rather, it is the story behind her existence and manifestations that is actually more tragic than terrifying. The Lady in White is a type of female spirit that generally looks the same. She dons a white dress, a nightgown, or something similar, and has her long, typically black hair, covering her face. In most stories, she is depicted as physically lean and tall. And while the color of her hair has almost always been black or in a similar dark shade, some have argued that this feature was only popularized by modern pop culture. In legends, the Lady in White varies from having a beautiful face to resembling a corpse with gray skin, sunken eyes, and no lips. This ghastly form could be better understood by knowing the common themes of White Lady stories, including unrequited love, loss, betrayal, death, suicide, and murder. Many of the Lady in White ghost stories begin with a once beautiful woman who, after suffering at the hands of men, ends up either killed or unhinged and suicidal. Instead of moving on to the afterlife, it is often said that her thirst for vengeance trapped her restless spirit to the physical world. Thus, the ghost of the Lady in White appears before people, the majority of which are men, particularly those who have been unfaithful, abusive, or unjust to women. In versions of the tale where the tormented lady also happens to be a mother, the white-wearing ghost is also believed to kidnap human children, likely to replace the ones she lost when she died or fill the emptiness that such loss left her. And for centuries, this tragically haunting tale have been passed down, from generation to generation. The reason why the Lady in White ghost is so popular is that, unlike other entities of lore, her story has been told around the world, varying only in slight details and epithets. There are White Lady tales from Germany, Canada, the Netherlands, Hungary, Switzerland, Malta, the United States, Russia, Serbia, Thailand, Malaysia, and more. But, of all the Lady in White legends worldwide, some of the best known are as follows. In Brazil, the Lady in White ghost is called Dama Branca or Mulher de Branco. Known to be the spirit of a lady, wearing a long white sleeping gown, she is believed to have died either of childbirth or in an honor killing at the hands of her father or husband. In patriarchal societies, honor killings or shame killings take place when a woman supposedly brings dishonor upon the family name or prestige by engaging in immoral behavior such as infidelity. So, presumably as a form of retribution, the ghosts of honor-killing victims come back to haunt the living and seek revenge in the shape of the Dama Branca. Among the most dreaded type of Lady in White is the Japanese Onri, or the vengeful spirit. They have long black hair and they often appear wearing the white kimonos they are believed to have been buried in. They also have the tragic backstory that completes every Lady in White lore, beginning with a woman who was wronged, killed, and is now seeking to exact revenge even after death. These vengeful spirits are the main antagonists in the classic Japanese horror films, The Ring and The Grudge. The list of Lady in White ghosts from around the world would not be complete without Mexican folklore's La Llorona. Also known as the Weeping Woman or the Wailer, La Llorona is the vindictive ghost of a mother who mourns the loss of her children. According to Mexican folklore, it was her who killed her young ones by drowning them in a fit of blind rage after learning that her husband was having an affair with another woman. But it was an act that she immediately regretted. Unfortunately for her, it was too late. Consumed by guilt, La Llorona tries to follow her children to the afterlife by also drowning herself. However, she is cursed to continue roaming this earth, wearing her soaked white dress until she finally finds her children and reunites with them. Perchta of Rosenberg, the White Lady of Bohemia, originated from the Czech Republic. Perchta Zedromberka was once a real person, the daughter of Czech nobleman, Oldych II of Romberg, who lived in the 15th century. Records say that she married a fellow aristocrat, a nobleman known as Jan of Liechtenstein. However, the marriage was unfulfilling. When Jan was on his deathbed years later, he asked for Perchta's forgiveness for the wrongs he has done to her as her husband. Perchta, however, denied him this final wish, and in turn Jan cursed her. After Perchta's death in May of 1476, people began reporting sightings of her ghost in the Krumlov chateau, where she was allegedly most often seen wearing her dark hair down, garbed in a distinctly bohemian white dress. There are plenty of lady in white stories in the Philippines, but no other legend tops that of the bar by Sabalit Drive. She was said to be the spirit of a woman who died in a car crash while driving along Balit Drive in Quezon City. Since then, motorists have claimed to see a stunning lady, dressed in white, whenever they pass the infamous two-lane street alone and at late hours. There are even accounts where unwitting drivers purportedly interacted with the lady in white, who would sometimes be asking for a ride, only to reveal her blood-covered form later in the car's backseat. The road between Beeford and Bransburton in East Yorkshire, England is said to be the haunting spot of a white lady, known simply as the Running Lady of Beeford. There is a rumoured case of her, causing a car crash that killed 6 people. Moreover, local beliefs similarly say that her manifestation is often an omen of death. In Celtic mythology, the lady in white is called Y Ladi Wen or Dains Mún Gwyn. She takes on a bogeyman role in stories, teaching children about obedience and warning them about the repercussions of bad behavior. There is a famous legend about this spirit that explores the complexity of her character. After years of wandering around, unable to stop until a man finally approaches her, Y Ladi Wen was set free. Beholden to the man who spoke to her, Y Ladi Wen leads him to a treasure site in an abandoned tower of Ogmore Castle, concealed by a heavy stone. She shows him a cauldron filled with gold. Her instruction was for him to take home half of the treasure and leave the rest untouched. However, greed and selfishness soon corrupted the man, and he returned later to retrieve what was left of the stash. This justifiably angered Y Ladi Wen, who attacked the man as he returned home. He survived the encounter and fell agonizing ill, but death would not dare knock on his door until he confessed what he had done. In the end, when he did, he immediately died, and the tale was sealed with the promise that whoever tries to do the same misdeed shall face Y Ladi Wen's revenge. Just by analyzing the name of the entity itself, White Lady, we can understand what its lore symbolizes. The color white, in most contexts, especially in art and religion, evokes the concepts of purity, goodness, peacefulness, perfection, flawlessness, virginity, and heaven. Perhaps, the reason why this was the color associated with the forsaken, white-dressed spirit was that this character of lore embodies those positive attributes, before it was all tainted by death, betrayal, and murder. But, if we take a closer look, even in versions where the supposed killer, or sinner, is the woman, the change from good to evil generally happens to be rooted in the injustice the woman suffered at the hands of men. In tales and legends, the White Lady is almost always the daughter or the wife of some man. But this male figure is also often the same person who violates and wrongs her. Despite this, the lady in white only becomes the dreaded ghost that she is when she tries to redress the oppression she has been subjected to.